From abandoned islands in Alaska to incredible diving spots in Mexico, these are 10 strange places in North America. Number 10, Pine Barrens, New Jersey. Why not kick off our journey with the seemingly normal but giant forest area known as the Pine Barrens? Views like this can give you an idea of how big the 1.1 million acre National Reserve actually is. Even though metropolitan areas like New York City and Philadelphia are close by, the Pine Barrens are extremely rural, encompassing many small ghost towns and old settlements, like Ong's Hat, a village that predated the Revolutionary War. However, the first known map of the area that lists Ongs was made in 1778. Throughout the years, this ghost town only managed to get smaller. There's mentions of bootleggers, mysterious disappearances, and massive population counts of 7 people. Perhaps the only reason anyone knows about this place was the insane urban legend surrounding it. Back in the day of bulletin board systems and Xerox mail art, 4 people decided to write about Ong's Hat. The group claimed that a renegade group of Princeton professors discovered interdimensional travel utilizing quantum physics and chaos theory. It's actually one of the earliest known internet conspiracy theories. As it turns out, Ong's Hat is just one of possibly hundreds of ghost towns in the Pine Barrens. If you're into mythical creatures, you might be familiar with the Jersey Devil, an evil spawn that has haunted the area for centuries. Number 9. King Island, Alaska. In 1778, James Cook became the first European to spot King Island. However, no kings live here. At one point, it was used by a small tribe of Inupiat who hunted in the summer months and spent their winters mostly dancing. With the rise of Nome, the tribe's economy was also supplemented by art sales. Unfortunately, by the 1970s, everyone from the tribe was forcefully reallocated to mainland Alaska. The most surprising part of it all is that some of these buildings are still standing. That's some impressive engineering considering the extreme conditions and the steep cliff locations. Number 8. CY, Michigan. CY is part of the growing ghost town population of northern Michigan. Created sometime in the late 1800s as a lumber town, it was named after the successful businessman C.Y. Bennett, who owned the mill, the store, and the land. What makes this place interesting is that there is no easy way to get to it. It literally is in the middle of a forest. There are no main roads leading to it. With no car access, the easiest way to get there would be to follow the abandoned railroad that passed through it. Digging around, I found that C.Y. Bennett was sued in 1916. A woodsman was hurt on the job by a falling tree and decided to sue for personal injuries. Bennett was found innocent in the matter. Do you think the accident happened at CY? Oh yeah, it definitely looks like somebody might be living there. So if I busted your cover, sorry. Number 7. The Stanley Park Zoo, British Columbia. This location's history dates all the way back to 1888, when the Stanley Park officially opened in Vancouver, BC. The story goes that a bear was caught and chained to a stump. More and more animals were put on display, and eventually a zoo was erected. The zoo operated until 1996, when it had to shut down due to money issues. The most memorable part of the Stanley Park Zoo has to be the polar bear exhibit, and it's also the only part that still stands strong today. Stanley Park is definitely worth a visit if you're in the area. There's a lot of natural beauty and little spots that are tucked away, waiting for you to find them. Number 6. California City, California. The city of California City, say that 5 times fast, was the dream of Nat Mendelsohn, a sociology professor and real estate developer who wanted to create California's next great master-planned city. In 1958, Nat purchased 80,000 acres and started planning the streets, intersections, cul-de-sac, all around a 26-acre Central Park in the heart of the city. Unfortunately, people were like, dude, I don't think I want to live in the middle of the desert when I can live right next to the beach. And that's that. By sheer size, California City is the 3rd largest in the state, but by population, it ranks 331st. In 1985, the city had a population of only 3,200 people, but by 2010, it has jumped to 14,000. The growth has been exceptionally slow. The empty dirt roads and desolate scenery provide for an interesting experience, though. Nuevo San Juan, Mexico. Nuevo San Juan is known under many different names, including Parangotikuti Remiquaro. Yeah. What makes this place interesting is not the Nuevo, but the Antiguo. The old San Juan village was destroyed by the nearby Paricutin volcano. The whole place was buried beneath lava and ash. Some of the buildings, like the church, were not completely destroyed, and thus Nuevo San Juan ends up on lists like these. Number 4. Habitat 67. Check this out. It's not CGI. It's real. And yes, people are living in there. What started out as a master's thesis in architecture for one designer turned into what you see here. The habitat was completed in time for the World's Fair in October of 1967, thus the name. The design has won many awards and is highly praised by architects and engineers alike. In 1985, the residents purchased the landmark, so if you want to buy a spot in there, you might have to be buddy-buddy with someone who already lives there. In total, there are 354 identical cubes reaching up to 12 stories high. The total number of residences has actually gotten smaller since some units have been combined into penthouses. What do you think? Would you live there? Number 3. Camp 30. Location, Ontario. Officially known as the Bowmanville POW camp, Camp 30 was a prisoner of war camp for German soldiers during World War II. The farmer who donated his farmland to the government wanted this place to be a school for unadjusted boys who were not inherently delinquent. And the government actually followed through and built the Bowmansville Boys Training School. That lasted until 1941, when the boys' school was turned into a POW camp. The place had its fair share of troubles, including a revolt in 1942 and a few elaborate escape attempts in 1943. After the war, the camp was turned back into a training school until 1979. After that, the location served many other organizations until 2008, when the camp officially closed its doors. There were many concerns over the preservation of the camp, but nothing major was done. The buildings were vandalized, looted, and partially destroyed. In 2016, the municipality of Clarington purchased the campsite, and they have plans to develop homes around some of the historic buildings. I think it might be weird to live next to a building that was part of a prisoner of war camp, don't you? Number 2. The Fly Geyser, Nevada. If you're traveling through the deserts of Nevada, you might be lucky enough to stumble across the out-of-this-world geothermal geyser. It used to sit on private land. I mean, it's still private land, but the owners have changed. Since 2016, the Fly Ranch Geyser is owned by the Burning Man Project. The nonprofit company purchased it for a cool $6.5 million. Who knew hippies had this much money just laying around? Might be time to start thinking about creating your own festival in the middle of the desert. To top it all off, the geyser was created by, drumroll, humans. That's right. While exploring for geothermal sources in the 60s, well drillers did not plug up this well very well. Haha, get it? Over the years, dissolved minerals started rising and boom, you got this beauty. This is not the only geyser in the area. There are 2 more smaller geysers that are still forming, so years from now, they might look just as cool. Number 1. Cenote Taj Mahal. For our final stop, we're going underground. A cenote is a natural pit or sinkhole caused by the collapse of limestone bedrock. Some divers say that this is one of the most beautiful diving spots in the world, let alone North America. When the sun hits just right, rays illuminate the clear blue water and create amazing light shows. It's also cool that the Taj Mahal is located in the Riviera Maya, near the coastal party town of Cancun. And I'm beginning to sound like a tour guide, so I'll just stop while I'm ahead. Check out the featured comment below, subscribe for more World Unearthed, and I'll see you in the next video.